Most nations are modern creations, drawn by treaties, formed by revolutions, defined by borders. But what if one of the world's most powerful states is not simply a country at all? What if it is something much older, something civilizational? There is a growing argument among historians and geopolitical analysts. China is not a country pretending to be a civilization. It is a civilization pretending to be a country. Before we explore this idea in depth, please subscribe and share if you value research-driven, fact-based documentaries that examine global power through history and critical analysis. Now, let's unpack what this statement really means and whether it holds up under scrutiny. To understand the claim, we must define our terms. A country is a political entity, defined by borders, sovereignty, and international recognition. A civilization, however, is deeper and older. It includes shared cultural memory, linguistic continuity, philosophical traditions, social norms, historical narratives spanning millennia. Most modern states are only a few centuries old. The People's Republic of China was founded in 1949, but Chinese civilization traces its origins back over 3,000 years to dynasties such as the Shang and Zhou. When political systems collapse, most states fragment permanently. Why did China repeatedly reunify? Across history, Chinese political authority fractured many times. The Han Dynasty fell, the Tang declined, the Song collapsed. The Ming was replaced, the Qing dissolved. Yet after each collapse, reunification eventually followed. Unlike the Roman Empire, whose western half never politically restored itself, China repeatedly reassembled. Why? One explanation lies in the civilizational core, a shared written language system, Confucian political philosophy, a bureaucratic tradition rooted in meritocratic examinations, a deeply embedded concept of centralized authority. The imperial examination system, refined during the Tang and Song dynasties, created a governing class bound not by tribe, but by shared ideology. Political regimes changed. The civilization endured. Consider this: modern Europeans do not identify as citizens of the Roman Empire. Modern Chinese citizens, however, often view their history as a continuous civilizational narrative stretching back thousands of years. The concept of Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom, historically described not just a territory, but a civilizational sphere. Even during foreign rule, such as under the Mongol Yuan dynasty or the Manchu Qing dynasty, the administrative and cultural systems remained deeply sinicized. Invaders adopted Chinese governance structures rather than replacing them entirely. This is not typical of most conquered states. It suggests that political power in China historically derived legitimacy from alignment with civilization, not ethnicity alone. China's geography also played a role. Natural barriers such as the Himalayas, the Gobi Desert, the Pacific coastline created a relatively self-contained civilizational space. Within this space, agricultural systems centered around the Yellow River and Yangtze River supported dense populations. Population density reinforced cultural cohesion. When political fragmentation occurred, economic interdependence often pushed regions toward reunification. In other words, geography created a contained ecosystem where civilizational continuity was structurally reinforced. The People's Republic of China presents itself as a modern nation-state. It operates within international law. It participates in global institutions. It maintains defined borders and sovereignty. Yet its internal political logic often reflects civilizational thinking. Long-term strategic planning, sometimes spanning decades, aligns with a historical worldview that prioritizes continuity and stability. The concept of national rejuvenation references not the creation of something new, but the restoration of historical status. This civilizational narrative influences education systems, political messaging, foreign policy framing, infrastructure planning. Is modern China acting like a Westphalian nation-state or like a civilization reclaiming historical centrality? Many modern countries are built around ideological pluralism and decentralized identity. China's political philosophy, influenced by Confucian tradition, historically emphasized hierarchy, harmony, central authority. Collective stability over individual assertion. The state is often framed not merely as a government, but as the guardian of civilizational continuity. This explains why territorial unity holds such profound symbolic significance. Fragmentation is not viewed as political disagreement, but as civilizational disruption. If China is a civilization state rather than a conventional nation state, it operates under different assumptions. Its foreign policy may be shaped less by short-term electoral cycles and more by long historical memory. Its economic planning may prioritize generational transformation rather than quarterly returns. Its strategic patience may reflect civilizational time horizons measured in centuries, not decades. This does not make it immune to internal challenges, but it does suggest that its political resilience draws from deeper cultural foundations than modern institutional design alone. So, is China a civilization pretending to be a country? The evidence suggests this. China functions as a modern sovereign state in international politics. But its identity, legitimacy, and long-term strategic behavior are deeply rooted in civilizational continuity. It is not merely a political system created in the 20th century. It is the latest governing structure layered onto one of the world's oldest continuous cultural frameworks. That civilizational core explains why dynasties fell, yet China endured. It explains why fragmentation was followed by reunification. And it explains why modern governance is framed not simply as administration, but as restoration. The conclusion is not that China is outside the nation-state system. It is that its nation-state structure is embedded within something far older and more enduring. Understanding that distinction is essential to understanding its behavior in the 21st century. Because when you negotiate with a country, you deal with policy. When you engage with a civilization, you engage with history itself. If you found this documentary insightful, like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth geopolitical analysis, exploring the forces shaping global power and civilizational strategy. History is not just the past. It is strategy.